Yeah, I just put our youngest. He fell asleep there, so on the couch. So I had to take him up there before he came up. But
Yeah, that was
good.
the same as that. A lot of fresh air today. It's a beautiful day outside. The boys run in the hot tub and playing on the jungle gym and run around out back, and they had a good day. So
You got that jungle gym all built.
I did get the jungle gym all built. Yeah, it didn't end in divorce or nothing, so it was all right.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. We got, as you can see, tonight's guest. We got Dan from Back 40 Firewood in the middle. His shirt kind of says it all, who he is. And we got on the far right, Mr. Easton, Andrew Easton from Easton Made Wood Splitters. And myself, Skidder Kev. So we're just going to get going here. And I think Shibe is right. I need to set up some moderators. I do have moderators. I don't know if they're here yet, but we'll get on that.
I just want to tell you, I love the color of your shirt.
Well, see, I had to wear this one tonight just because I didn't want, I didn't want any tension to build,
Okay.
It's really standing out in the middle, that's for sure.
Especially with the little the name plates being the blue and the orange,
Oh yeah, hey, you're heading right out of the park here, Dan.
I knew that the screen was going to be branded, so I had to fit into the brand. You got,
Yeah.
Oh boy, look at this. We got
just going to send it. That's right. Cheers, Schreibe.
Mr. Scheib. I even got an orange cup, Andrew. Come on.
Yeah, matching cup. It's like camo with that shirt. We got GP Outdoors.
I'm gonna always
got
Daniels after this one.
Anytime I'm in between two Canadians, I gotta, be visible and be seen with you guys.
Yeah, that's right for sure. Who do we got tonight? Larry Holt. How you doing, Larry? William Klein. Ty Man, the Buckeye. Daniel Atkins. Wayne Thorpe. Jesse Hodgins. We got the usual BNF Firewood. Cheers.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. We got my
moderator. Crew of guys in here already, eh?
My moderator is here. Videos by Al, one of them. Let's see if I get a sec. I'll add another one on here.
I was going to warn you, with me being on here, you better increase your moderators.
Oh, trouble follows you?
Oh, everywhere I go.
I can just imagine the comments tonight.
Oh.
And here we go.
They're here for the $10,000 giveaway.
Yep.
It starts. Oh, wow. Good evening, Camp Grimsley. How you doing tonight? Well, so what do we got? 57 in here. We'll get on. Number one, boy, I wanted to get Dan on here tonight because this guy right here just started the #1 firewood podcast out there. Yeah. Him and Ohio Joe, can't forget his co-host on it.
Yep.
Joe, you guys do, what are you, 4 episodes into that?
Yes, I believe the 4th one, just every Wednesday they come out. And we've kind of just been keeping that pace. We're not sure if we're going to increase to more episodes per week. I kind of like the 1 a week. And it's just been a blast. I mean, it's been great.
And I'll tell you guys, today I listened to, I think, every single one of them. I got a whole pile of chores the other day. If you haven't checked out, make sure you go over and you check it out. It's awesome. It was just, it was actually like really awesome. You guys really knocked out of the park. It was just great, Dan. Like, hats off to you, man.
Well, thanks. Yeah. That's that. And I guess I should also start off by saying thanks, Skidder Kev, for having me on here, and Andrew, great to virtually meet you finally. I mean, yeah. I know you've dreamt of this day probably for a long while. So
I have. I really have.
Yeah, but yeah, the podcast, we talked about it for a long while, like 3-4 months actually. And then finally, Joe was like, all right, let's just do it. Let's get the podcast going. Let's, record. Let's just record an episode and start going. So And it's like I say, he's great to work with. He's great to chat with, and he comes up with ideas. And it's nice because you can go into some topics and take your time and not have to worry about like that attention span of YouTube or Facebook, So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. You guys hit the nail on the head with that one too, because like you could have like no different than this. You can sit here and have a conversation about it where like when you're doing a video for YouTube or Facebook, you're trying so hard to grasp the audience attention and keep their attention that it's hard to really dive into something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys work very well together too. Like it comes across awesome. Like just a camaraderie back and forth, and it really is good.
Yeah. We weren't sure exactly what the response was going to be because, I mean, to us, it sounded great, but it's kind of like we weren't sure the content was going to hold up to people's expectations,
Well,
but it has, which is good.
There you go, Kevin. Keep them coming weekly. There you go. I can take whatever you can put out. Now that we're getting into processing firewood, I got a lot of time sitting in that cab, so I need something to listen to.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, here's a tough one for you. What's it going to take to get you to switch from Wolfridge to Easton Made? Disclaimer before you answer that, this is not why we have you on there, and not why we stuck you in the middle.
I would probably say as soon as the Easton Made could, live up to the Wolfridge's output and production and expectations. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That's the way it is. Actually, though, I will tell you, when I was looking for splitters, I had it narrowed down to the Easton Made, but then I was in a position where for some reason I wanted to see the machine, in person. And at the time there was very few YouTube videos of, any of your splitters, like 4 years ago. So
it would be very, very limited. Like just the last 2 years, it's been night and day. And like, honestly, I don't think there's a right or a wrong to it.
Yeah.
Wolfridge used to me, like you're buying a good piece of equipment.
Exactly. And I saw a couple of videos and I was like, all right, this is, you had the log lift, you had everything I wanted. And then I don't know how it happened, but I all of a sudden came across Wolfridge and they were 5 miles away from me. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to go check them out. And then I was just like, I didn't want to have to be running up across the border, trying to figure things out. And, so
there's
makes sense, though,
there's a good chunk of water between us too, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. But no, you can't go wrong with either one. I mean, I've run the Axis down at Joe's, and so yeah, it's
Oh, and like you like, and like, the funny thing is, like, you guys don't understand. Like, you and Cap don't understand how fortunate me and Chris are to have guys like you and Joe and like all those guys that push this industry forward for us. Like, we're so fortunate to have ambassadors like you, like pushing our products. Like whether it be a Wolfridge or an Easton Made, like it's great because if somebody searches for Wolfridge, Easton Made is going to come up and vice versa, right? So it's so great that you guys are bringing such a level of awareness to the products that we make. It's like I don't think we can thank you enough for it.
Yeah, and I mean, and even like you're going to always have, in every area, like chainsaws, you're going to have the Husky steel, trucks, Ford, Chevy. So, it's always going to be, there's two sides, but I think both sides mutually respect each other and know that the product is, stands up and lives up to, its reputation.
Yeah, I think you guys both are excellent pieces of equipment, that's for sure. And there's nothing wrong with some healthy competition because that's what helps you push you forward to get to the next, I'm going to do this to get me ahead of the game. And then he does this to get ahead of the, you know what I mean? It's good, right?
Well, that's exactly it. And if you think of it too, like you think back to 35, 40 years ago, an old Timberjack skidder had a whole pile of levers until Cat came along and John Deere with steering wheel, right? So it really helps push things forward. It really it's great. Like I really enjoy it. I couldn't ask for a friend better than having Chris as a competitor and having even all the guys from Wildwood, Brute Force, like all those guys are just great bunch of guys. Timberwolf guys are awesome to get along with. Like,
and then when you realize your log splitters are like, number 2 compared to Wolf Ridge, you can start making firewood processors. That helps you out. So it's a win-win no matter which way you look at it. Oh,
just want to hello guys, 3 kings at one time from Larry Holt. Well, thank you, Larry. Without you guys all out there, we wouldn't be able to do that. So cheers. Thank you,
Larry.
And I forgot to mention here, I don't know why I forgot this. Videos by Al reminded me. The podcast is called The Woodhounds. So you can find this on any streaming platform, whether it's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
And your website.
You can find it right on the Woodhounds website too. That's where I found it there today, and it was
woodhounds.com. So
Gord's a little bit upset you forgot Toyota too in that.
Well, we were talking about trucks, not whatever.
Tonkas.
Well, wait, we were talking. Yeah, I guess there was another couple other ones.
We better end that before it gets
I'm surprised he's still awake. I'm surprised GP is still up. I suppose though daylight savings now, it's tough to fall asleep when the sun's still up. So.
I'm surprised I'm not out yet.
We were talking, I heard in your podcast, somebody else actually, let me go back to this. If you guys got a question, put Q in front of it, QQQ or single Q, whatever. So I know it's a question. I can catch that a little bit easier as well. But we'll get on. Somebody brought up about the Paul Bunyan and wanted to do a firewood meet and greet there in your live stream last night.
Yeah.
If they didn't get a booth.
Frickin' Jeep was the guy, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. They got like a big grass area, like parking lot there. Like you could arrange to do it somewhere in there. Like there's lots of room there.
Yeah, we were actually talking last year of a bunch of us going together and getting a booth, but then I think the time's up for getting all that in. So we'll just have to figure out a spot and, kind of plan, meet at this area or meet at, another spot.
That's probably not a bad idea. I don't know. If you guys are seriously interested, if you give Gala a call at Ohio Forestry Association, they're really good to deal with them.
Yeah,
they might go for that if you're interested, and they might even help you out on the cost of it if you let them know what's going on, if they're familiar with what you guys do. Because I would imagine there's quite a few of you guys that could go in on that, and that would be a pretty awesome thing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
yeah. I know the Eastern Loggers do it. There's they have a bunch of YouTubers that I've been involved with them as well. With more like logging channel, Logger Wade and Stump Jumper, and that's 319.
Yep.
Stevie, all those guys have been down there, so kind of a similar thing. So
yeah,
but
I would just hate to, like how they have the avenues and the streets. I'd hate to say, all right, everyone meet at the crossroads there in the center, and then the rest of the fairgrounds are empty because everyone's there.
That's how it was when I went to see Andrew at the last show I was at, and I couldn't even get to the guy.
Yeah.
Well, it was completely and totally nuts the last time. The last Paul Bunyan show I was at was completely and totally nuts. There was we were backed right up. It was good. It was just a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to talk to you, right? They want to talk splitters, and it's busy.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
We got James. Have we talked about how much more patient the 37D guys are going to have to be?
I'm looking that up right now. I don't want to tell him because he might shoot me. I'm not quite sure where he was supposed to be on the schedule. We only have so many. We've only got so many engines available right now. Honestly, that's like we were starting to get the parts in now, and then the engines are the other holdup. So it's
yeah.
I'm
Supplier,
not quite
supply
sure
chain.
where James originally was on the schedule there, but if you give us a call there on Monday, James, we'll look after. We're doing like the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We're doing like 25 of them or 30 or 40 on them. It's a crazy number of them on the schedule here the next couple of weeks. The guys are pounding frames together for them right now. I'm not quite sure if you're in on that bunch of them or not, James, but if you call Monday, they will be able to fix you up and let you know where you are there. So
Yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, James, on your 37D. I know you've been very patient for that. So tough going with supply chain. Chris, you need to do a live with Wolf Ridge on a show.
Oh boy,
I'm open to that. I'd have anyone. We got Dan on here. It's not like we always have Eastern Made guys on here. So for me, I've got friends everywhere. So I don't care what you run. If you're a friend, you're a friend, right?
That's right.
But friends do talk them into, Eastern Mates.
What do you got in your what's that can that you were lifting up there, Andrew?
This can?
Yeah, what is that? Is that like the Canadian White Claw?
Yeah.
There's no White Claw there.
The Canadian White Claw. I didn't know that. just had to make sure. Yeah. Huh? Well, because you do run a Husqvarna as well, right?
Oh, I do periodically. I've got those ones too, but we made those ones disappear already. So we.
Oh boy.
We're on to the mild stuff again. So.
Oh boy.
Thinning it down.
Yeah.
Tribe. Dan and Kevin, how are your wood sales so far this year? That's one part of this question. We did our first delivery Friday, but things are, once we start getting dry, the lawns are too wet and stuff to get a truck in most of the time. But it will start picking up in the next 3 weeks. I think we'll really start hamming deliveries out. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been kind of slow because of the weather. It's just been because I'm more for like the recreational burners, So, I mean, if the weather's crappy on the weekend, nobody's out back in their fire pit, having any s'mores and.
Yeah, exactly. No point in burning.
Yep.
What's the
lead time on splitters now?
We're telling guys a year. You will likely see it significantly sooner than that. Like as per our schedule, they'll follow the supplies. Everything goes well. Somebody order one now, you'd probably be into I would say late November, December. But we're still not sure how the supply chain is. It's kind of it seems like you nip something in the ass and then the next thing kind of falls apart.
You get a surplus of one thing and then the other thing goes shortage. You need that.
That's exactly what it is. I have a complete and total coverall building full of 24 horse Kubota engines. I just want to know any parts put them together. And that's the truth.
Oh. Yeah, that would suck.
They're not cheap either. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're sitting on it. I think you just kind of answered that. Can you put Kubota engines in any of your splitters?
Essentially, that's what we do. Like the 24Ds at 1222 and the 3070s at 2228.
Yeah,
and I think we have a guy who ordered a diesel and an Axis we're going to put on there. I'm not quite sure how we're going to negotiate that or how we're going to do it. But we'll, with a little bit of redneck ingenuity, I'm sure we can make it happen. So.
The best way to get anything done.
Yeah. Yeah, James, he's just set back. It like we've just kind of been talking about supply chain issues, so he's been pushed back because of the motor on that. But
yeah, no, I'm sure we can look after you on that one, James.
He said he hasn't received a call yet, so who knows where he is.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be before too long here.
Yeah. Keith, I overheard a few vendors at Paul Bunyan last year say the show was nothing without the Easton Made boys there.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know who he was talking to. No, it would have been. I was actually looking forward to that, and then I was like, oh, because even you, Skitter Kev, you usually go, don't you?
Yeah, it was crossing the border. It was just, this is another one of those topics. It's you come back and so it just could turn into a giant pain, like with daycare and stuff like that, right? For both me and my wife. So we had to choose not to go. It kind of sucked, but this year, like we've booked our hotel already, so we're planning on going again.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll be there.
It was tricky. Even right now, we're not quite sure how it's going to work out. Like different opinions and stuff, but we're not even sure if we have a booth in Boonville here right now. We have a booth in Ohio at the Paul Bunyan show too. So hopefully we can make it to both of them. So
how far of a trip is it for you guys?
To get into Ohio, we're about 8 to 10 hours in around there.
Yeah,
I think
Boonville's only Boonville's only 2.5 hours from us. Boonville's not 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think Ohio. We're 6 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then the wife usually has a big gulp before we leave, so that stretches into like 8 hours for all the bathroom stops.
You'd be a pretty good haul down to it, eh? And you probably 12 or 13 hours down to it, would you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I flew. I can't drive that far.
Wow.
I flew down to Cleveland and then drove down to Ohio Woodburner, and then from there drove to Cambridge, and then from Cambridge I drove over to Columbus and flew home.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. So I was
it would be a pretty good ride for you. Like you're not far from O'Hare, right?
Yeah, I could never drive that far.
That's a good hike for a weekend too. How many days were you down there for? 4?
We went down on Wednesday and then came back Saturday. So, so it was nice because I left Paul Bunyan show at like 3 something, and I was back home in my house Saturday night at 11. So,
Really, that's awesome. Wow, you can't beat that.
Yeah, because we have an airport about 5 miles away that is a hub for Chicago. So we just, jet down to Chicago, then bounce over wherever. And it was pretty slick getting
way
better than driving.
That would be really handy. We just have the one airport here in Canada, eh?
Just the one? That's it?
Yeah. It almost seems like it sometimes. I thought about getting my buddy's got his pilot's license, but then fuel costs in that thing, it's like you might as well just drive. You got to basically how his plane lease works. You're basically renting the plane, and just a pain, right?
Yeah.
It'd be cool to do, but I'm not that big of a YouTuber yet. Take my private plane down.
I really just need a helicopter. There's other guys that have them in the industry. I just haven't got one myself. So
just land right in the center of the Paul Bunyan show. That way you don't have to mess with the airports. Just helicopter in, drop right down, and there you are.
You're laughing like I'm joking.
That's funny because we did talk about that last Friday.
Those who know.
Yeah, exactly. Tony, any chance of getting Honda engines on the Easton Made splitters again?
I don't think so. We've had such good luck with the Vanguards. I don't think you'll ever see me buy another Honda.
Yeah, Hondas are good, but that Vanguard, they've been pretty good. Like on that power pack, it's a pretty good engine.
Oh fuck, we've hardly ever touched one, and like when they're like the handful, a couple of times we've ever had an issue with them. With Honda, it was always a big screw around to actually get warranty or something done. Briggs, like you can take it down to Billy Bob's backcountry small engine shop. He's a brakes dealer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
Exactly
that
right.
simple. Honestly, it's amazing. Like the difference in like if something actually does happen, that it's just looked after and done.
Yeah. Garney, any of you guys going to be at Logging Congress in Green Bay, September 8th to 10th?
Maybe.
That's the closest to you, I think, Dan.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow, so September is a ways out yet. But yeah, that would only be about 3.5, 4-hour drive for me. So
oh, that's not too bad. I'm not sure about myself whether I'd be. I didn't even know there was one in Green Bay. I'd have to look it up, but probably not that weekend. What about you, Andrew?
My lead designer is getting married September 10th, so I just don't think I can make it. Gage is getting married September 10th, and I'm sure he planned it.
You'll have to remind him about that day that he's getting married too.
Oh yeah. We've had really good luck at the show in Green Bay. Like when it's in Oshkosh, it's really good. When it's up in Escanaba, it doesn't. I find you get more guys looking for big equipment when it's up in Escanaba, because it's more or less the guys that are doing like heavy log, like guys are buying forwarders and processor heads and like stuff like that. It's heavy logging. Where when you get down into Oshkosh, like where the show is this year, it's a lot better show for us, anyways. So
yeah. We got Jesse. We soon make a splitter attachment for a Mini X, like the split fire that the Morgans got.
I would be more than happy to do it. The only issue with that is there's so many different attachments. It's not standardized like a skid steer. So I would have no problem building somebody in one, but I don't know what the different pin to pins are and stuff and the different attachments and all that kind of jazz. Like you may see us do in the future when like I can get the time to like nail that down and make sure it's right. But as of right now, I don't think you'll see that from us for a wee little bit until we get everything organized here. So
yeah, that's a tough. We talked about this on the last one. It's so tough because there's so many options around that, and
like it would be so nice to have. If you had a mini excavator, that's a cat's ass, man. That would be great.
But that's the key: is you need the mini excavator.
That's exactly it. Like, well, what we really should do is we should do a splitter attachment with a rotator on it. Wouldn't that be the way to fly with that, eh?
Yeah, you can do that. Encon,
I'm sure we could.
AMI's got one. That'd make that splitter real expensive fast.
It would, yeah. It would work good though. Depending on who you were. If you were a guy that was a guy really handy on an excavator, probably make a lot of wood with one in a hurry.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Kevin, how's the new ERP system running now? Is it helping you balance everything out?
Completely and totally amazing. Night and day, it was a big animal to grasp and get a hold of. Like we've been at it for about two months, maybe 9 weeks now, and we've like the last 2 weeks of workflow through the shop, the parts going through the shop. It's just amazing the difference it is. It just to get it up and rolling, you have to kind of slow down a wee bit, get everything going, and then pick back up again. So it's been a night and day. It's going to change the way we do a lot of things. So
yeah, for sure. Now, Dan, I watched the last video. I think it was the last one you put with your skids. You're having problems with your skids rotting and your skids that you're sacking your firewood on.
Oh, my pallets.
Your pallets. So skid. I call it a skid.
Oh,
your pallets. Can you not get plastic pallets down there?
Well, yeah, if I pay for them.
Oh, you got to pay for them. Yeah, okay.
So that was the thing, is that my brother-in-law owns a trucking company, and he had these heavy-duty pallets that were a little off size, so he could only use them once. Yeah. So I would get endless supply of these heavy-duty pallets from him, And now he no longer has that account. And so now I'm trying to find every way I can to preserve them so they don't rot out the bottom or,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think what he really needs is he needs a stone maker in his yard, so then he can make the pavers to put under the skids.
Oh.
That's what Dan needs.
You're exactly right there, Andrew.
Wow. Was that like what was that? Like an offer for me to demo this thing or something?
I'm not saying nothing. Orange or blue though.
But I don't know if I have enough stones to put in it. Like I live basically on an old lake bed. It's sand everywhere.
That's exactly what you need. You're golden.
Really? Yeah.
So,
it would be nice because that's the one thing. I had a whole bunch of extra pavers from when I redid my pond. And so I was like, I'll just put these down, set a runner on top of them to keep that wood off the ground, and then put the pallet on that thing.
But that should work though. That was a pretty good idea.
Yeah. The other thing that's nice is it actually is nice to have about a foot off the ground so you don't have to bend over so far to like stack that first row. I don't know.
For us short guys though, it's going to be too high.
That's true. For old guys like me with bad backs, it's nice.
Yeah. We got Larry Holt. Andrew, are you looking at building a processor like a Halverson unit?
I think the Halverson guy has a patent on it. And I think Han uses it from Halverson is how I understand that.
Purchase.
Honestly, it looks awesome. It looks like it's a great outfit. I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave that one. So
I've run one of them for a short period of time, and they're really good with like short wood, like bolts. Yeah. So guys like Wisconsin and I think Michigan's like that, they're running short wood. It's super handy.
And I think if you were a guy doing wood for yourself, that Halverson is the right price. If you were a guy like that had own log trucks or had a bunch of 8-foot wood and had a wood boiler, that would be the cat's ass. Like full production, I don't think that's kind of the ticket for it, but like something like that where you were a guy that had a bunch of pulpwood or something like that had didn't care if it was an inch or two off or whatever, what it split like, then you'd be laughing. They'd work awesome.
Yeah. Was there a tape measure going off somewhere? Somebody pointing with a tape measure? So you hear in the background somewhere. It like sounds like a tape measure.
Oh, it's a dog walking around behind me, I think. That's even the one that runs a lot. I don't know why his nails are so long, but it picks up poor guy.
Wayne Thorpe, any chance of making a splitter with a longer table for those not using a conveyor? If they're 12 to 16 inches longer than 2 pushes, you could be done without pieces falling off onto the ground.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's no problem. I'll just call us and we'll do it. Whatever the material is worth is what we charge for. We do it quite a bit.
That'd be just for that aluminum plate, right? You just make that longer, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And we have a part number for it. It's not a big deal. Yeah. We don't advertise. It's one of those things that if somebody wants to, like if you ask Jerry about it, it's no problem. I'll just let us know. We'll make sure it's cut for you and done that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you did stuff like that. Camp Grimsley, what about making an Easter-made firewood bundler? We're excited to get our 2228 from you guys.
We've kind of thought about doing other stuff like that, but it's hard to do that and be competitive in that market. There's so many other guys that are doing a really good job of it that it's hard to get into it. You can't. I don't see how I could make that wheel any better, so I'm not going to try and reinvent it. So
yeah,
you could just sell like the paint to whatever they buy. They could buy the paint colors, paint it, sell the sticker, put it on, and then they have their own Easton-made bundler.
And we've done that before.
Yeah, Jeffrey's gonna pop up here in a second.
Yeah. Where's Jeff at?
Yeah,
I've seen a bundler out there that looks like it's yours, like an Easton-made
It's
bundler.
funny. We've had people call and argue with us about Jeff's bundler. Seriously, we've had people call and argue. Oh no, you make bundlers for sure.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Jeff painted it that color. Don't worry, we don't make them.
A pickaroon? A hookaroon? No, nothing. Dump trailer? Nothing. And here's the co-host. He's in the house. Hey, Kev, can you ask either Dan or Andrew to lend me $5?
Man, I tell you,
Cheers, Joe.
He's kind of demanding like that. I mean, he makes me fly down to Ohio to record these podcasts. I got to go down there, and yeah, it's just. But I'll check and see. I know Andrew, you could probably instead of $10K give away $9,995 tonight and give $5 to Joe.
I could do that. Just make sure you hit that like button to be included in the draw.
Oh, good to see you, Joe.
Yeah, nice to see you, Joe. Saw Surgeon. Ted wants to know, are you ready to open an Eastern-made distribution center in Southwest Michigan yet?
Not yet, but Ted, you're the first guy on my list if I ever do.
We haven't got the where's the question about the pizza wood splitting wedge? I haven't got that one yet either. Where's Corey? Isn't it Corey? I think it's Corey that always asks that. VPAC. Any reason someone hasn't come up with a VPAC version over here? That machine looks like a game changer.
Yes and no. I think they work really good. Ula's an awesome guy. I had stayed over right here back in the summer. Super nice guy. Drank a bunch of beers with him. Couldn't find too many better guys than that. It looks like a good system. I think it's I think it'd be a hard thing to implement and service and make sure it was done correctly, that it was consistent and it performed well for everybody. That's a hard thing with making equipment, guys, is that when you build something, you really have to build it for the masses and make sure that the people that you're selling it to know how to operate, and two can succeed with it, and three can fix if something goes wrong, right? So yeah, the VPAC's a good outfit. So,
and that's one big thing that when you look at like over here, there's so many different varieties of wood that split so many different ways. You don't get just the nice clean splitting, cubes of sticks coming off the end. So that's a big, the trees aren't 10 inches and straight for 60 feet. It's like crotches and branches and
that's exactly it. Like when you get over to Europe, there's a lot of plantations and stuff, and like you're cutting corn cobs, so you're cutting stalks of corn. They're just in rows.
Yep.
That being said, like Ula's pretty sharp. He's the guy that owns VPAC. He'd be about my age, and he is a sharp cookie. He's smart. So if you were looking for a VPAC and thinking about it, you're going to pay good money for it, but you're going to get a good piece of equipment for that. I just don't know how we would implement it that it would work for everybody. We're in our demographic is also.
Yep.
Yeah. It would be difficult.
And it's one of those. You got the R&D that goes into that, and next to copying something that's probably patented and what you.
It would be a big project. Like for us to take it on right now. It would consume a lot of resources. I'm probably better off to build wood splitters for guys like James that really want them, right? So
yeah, exactly, for sure. Shy Andrew, have you thought about Kawasaki engines?
Yes, I have. Kawasaki does not make a horizontal shaft engine that's not liquid cooled. So what that means, like you can buy a vertical shaft engine that's like a lawnmower or whatever, which that doesn't work for our application, obviously. When you go to the horizontal shaft, they're all liquid cooled. When you go to a liquid cooled engine, I'm just as well to put a Kubota on it. Price wise, I price them out, and the Kubota is It's not very much difference between buying the Kawasaki that's liquid cooled that's gas versus buying a proper Kubota diesel. So that's why we haven't done it.
We got Will Davidson.
Uh-oh.
Do you need drivers for the Easton Maids to come from Canada?
Honestly, we do. That's been a big hold up for a lot of stuff is shipping stuff. Like I know we had a choke with it the last time, but trying to find a truck around Ottawa, we wouldn't be able to find one.
Yeah.
You'd wonder why you'd have such a hard time finding a truck around the show, but that seems to be a problem sometimes.
Yeah. I think this one's for you, Dan. I like your idea of a mobile conveyor. I'm going to keep my eye open for a deal, but can't afford much at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, that was Brad Firewood at the Furnace. He was talking about, he stacks all his wood up, but then when it comes time to load it for delivery into his trailer, the best way to, instead of hand tossing everything in, I said, just like, I think they make like little 16, even 10, 12-foot conveyors. Just find something that you can move along your stack of wood and toss it in and load your trailer up.
Well, that one conveyor that Matt had was a pretty cool outfit. The airport conveyor. You guys seen that, eh?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you can. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. It's just finding them. It's tough.
Yeah, exactly. That is for sure. That airport conveyor, that was a good idea. But there's really, like, you could take a Wolfridge or Easton Made conveyor, like their 16-foot conveyor, get a wheel on the front. Because do the wheels oscillate on the 16-footers?
Yeah, they do. Like we switch them all that they're the same as a processor that they turn. Yeah, and they, like, even about it, you can, like, for doing that particular job, you could probably buy a fairly light conveyor. Like, I know there's a handful of companies down near next to woods, Kevin, that build like light conveyors. Like you push them like a wheelbarrow almost. Like they make them for corn and stuff like that, right? So
yeah. So they're out there. You can probably find something that worked pretty good for that. We got TB. I have a 2228 being built probably this week. Wasn't expecting it till December, but I should be seeing it in April. Got to talk with Jerry with a G. Great customer service, Andrew.
Yeah, like there's a handful of splitters that were along, like the 2228s, 1222s, 916s, 511s. Like the standard horizontal splitters were starting to gain a lot of ground on them. The guys that we were telling, like 6 to 8 months from now, we're starting to get phone calls for them to get them to them now. Like the diesels and the axes, I think we're kind of getting caught up in the axes now that we're ahead on them. But the diesels are the hard part. Like they're just it like when we went into it, like when we started taking orders for them, like it was, there's no problem supplying you all. And then we started getting orders for them. We said, yeah, guys, we're gonna need like 100 of these engines next year. Like, we can't do that. We don't have that many engines. Like there's no possible way. So that was the only hard part with the diesels, and then trying to organize cylinders and stuff like that, because we didn't think we'd sell that many of them. Like that's like we've sold a pile of them, and we didn't. Like, when we initially planned an instruction, we thought, we're going to build a handful of them. We're going to be a specialized thing, but no, like people are going crazy for them, and they by all rights, to see one of these diesel machines run, they're awesome. You're going to pay good money for one, but they kick ass. They are amazing.
Where are we here? I just had that last. There we are. Do you make a splitter to split 4-foot logs? You almost need like a little engine hoist on it.
The biggest one we built had a 54-inch stroke on it.
Holy moles!
Like biggest estimated we built. Like, we built the bows with 10-foot strokes for like the great big logs, but like we've done them that are 54-inch.
That's basically, that'd be like a cordwood splitter there.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. I don't think if you called us, I would build another one. But have I done it? Yeah. So will I do it again? They work fine. It's just like fucking. Like, we even built the 4-way wedge. Like when you split the piece of wood that when it splits, you can like pickaroon the one back. Paul put the one back over. Paul put the one back into the splitter, and like it's just a lot of work. Fuck, you're pulling a lot of wood.
Yeah,
like you're gonna be tuckered out at the end of that day. I absolutely promise you, you'll hate yourself for it.
And what are you doing with a 4 foot long split? Like what would be? I suppose maybe those top loading boilers. I don't know.
No,
I do have answers for this, but
we've had a guy down in North Carolina. What boilers are one? But we had a guy down North Carolina that bought one. He has these big estates. I don't know what castles, like they look like castles, but these castles have like 4 foot fireplaces. They have 4 foot open fireplace, so that's how big of a piece of wood they'll take.
Holy moly!
Yeah. And he said, I just want it for that. They don't care what the wood costs. They just want it for the ambience of it. When somebody books a stay at their big castle place here, it's and like these places are amazing to look at.
yeah.
Amazing place. That he specifically needed that splitter just for that.
Wow.
So we have the Mennonites around here do it. Plus, I know some big producers north of us here. They do the 4 footers. They'll hand stack it. They'll split it all, hand stack it. When they get their orders, they've got a machine. They either use like you can get those saws where you're like just zip.
Buzz saw?
Zip. Yeah, like a buzz saw. So they have one that they can set up and they'll cut. If the order's for 12-inch, they just put it on. It'll all be 12-inch or 16-inch.
There's another step in the process before they. Okay.
So that's the way I've seen it. I've never heard of that castle one. That's pretty interesting, for sure.
Yeah, and if you go to Europe, when you go overseas, it's very common to see billets, like long pieces of wood cut like that, and then they cut it to whatever length afterwards. I don't know what the particular advantage of doing that is, but maybe somebody that's watching can say what the advantage of that is. I don't know of a particular advantage of doing that I can see, but again, everybody's got a different perspective of doing things too, right? So
yeah.
Oh boy, tipping back, fellas.
Scheib. Oh. Cheers. Thanks, Scheib.
Cheers. Getting a little bit dry in here. And we have to find out this next question here. We have plastic pellets here. Where's Gringo Pines from?
Down in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, well, I've got Rick, my urban logger. He's actually got a bunch of them now that he's going to be getting rid of. So I might be getting some. I just, I haven't gotten any up to this point just because the ones I were getting for free and,
Well, what you got to do is buy a sawmill, and then you can mill your own lumber to build your own skids.
I was just talking this today. Amanda was showing me this thing on Instagram. She wanted to build a planter that kind of hangs from the ceiling. And I told her, I said, well, if I had a sawmill, I could go out there and mill them boards right up right now. So I'm working on it.
You almost got her talked into it.
Almost.
Circle B, what are trucking prices like out of Canada these days for splitters? Up a little, up a lot? Excuse me, double?
Depends. Like what they're honestly they're completely and totally insane. What they want to ship a wood splitter now is like they're completely and totally right off their rocker. Like it's completely and totally insane. And then to try and find a truck to haul it is like LTL. Like I think we had a quote last week that was $8 a mile per splitter.
Holy cow!
Like just a criminal. Like that's there's no
license to print money.
I've trucked before. I've run a truck. I've run trucks down the road. That's crazy. What we have done with our schedule is since we're so far out, like we're a year out. By month, we have organized the orders by zip code. So we build like 8 to 10 at a time based on the zip code. So like when we put it on a truck, it's normally within, I would say, 100 digits of the zip code. So like right now, Drew's running Virginia. Next week, he's going to run Ohio. After that, he might run Wisconsin. After that, it might be down in like Kansas somewhere. So like when we organize it like that, we found it was far easier to find a truck, far easier to organize loads. So that's how we've been doing it to make it justifiable. Because if we were just going to ship one splitter right now, like I'd take an awful hit on it, because like we've quoted prices based on a year and a half ago or a year ago of what we were actually paying for trucking. I'm not going to go back to the customer and say, hey, guess what? Your trucking's doubled. Your $1,500 freight charge went to $3,000. So I can't do that. So we had to get a little bit creative with it. It's been working really well in that respect. And so that's how we've been doing that.
Yeah. Gord thinks you got Dan just signed up for a new stone maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, question from the bonfire. Andrew, you have 2 circular saw processors. Will we see a second MB in the future?
I don't know. It's hard to build something really good and inexpensive. It's very
can't have both.
Very difficult to do that.
It's just not going to happen. I want the best processor for the least amount of money. I've seen that come up a bunch of times.
Whenever I've tried to do stuff like that, it just bites you right in the ass. and you'll see like the commercial splitter end of it is good. Like we have good competitors. We have guys that want to build good stuff that are doing a really good job. It's every one of us wants to build the very best product. I don't think it really matters to us what it costs to build it, as long as it's reasonable and we're making money on it. Processors, completely different story. You want to talk about a race? It's a race to the bottom. That's exactly what. Who can build it the cheapest? Who can build it who can get it at the door for the fast? And that the process random. Once you dip below that $70,000 threshold for processors, that seems to be what it is. The exception being is the European guys. Like you buy a Yappa, you're buying a good machine. Or you buy a Hacky Pilky, you're buying a good machine. A Typhoon, you're buying a good machine, but you're also paying good money for what it is. So that's the difference being there. That a lot of the stuff that you see being built in North America with the processors and stuff, they've got to. Some of those guys got to give their head a good shake and say, like, what are we doing here, sort of thing. So
yeah. Schweib, do you think the rugged-made 37-ton splitter can handle box wedge?
Oh, yeah. Depending on the wood. That's the key. There's another example of whatever you're putting through the box wedge, it depends on the product.
You're absolutely 100% right. If you're trying to put like I'll get stuff through a box, even with our splitters, like 2220, like can you shove something out? Absolutely, it's going to go with it. Thing doesn't give a hell for nothing. It's coming out the back of it. Is it going to be pretty? Nope. It's going to look like it's going to look like snot. It's not going to be nice. The problem that I think you're going to run into the rugged-made, Don, is the width of the push plate. That's going to be the limitation on that. Other than that, I think it likely would. Like somebody running it sensibly the way that you do, like no problem. The hindrance is going to be the width of the push plate. You have to have a push plate wide enough that the outside wings of the box wedge, the pusher plate is going to be able to catch the outside one. So that's if you do take that on, that's one thing to think about it. And don't be afraid of getting in touch with me if you want to give it a go. I'm more than happy to help you. I'd be curious to see it. So
get like a 2x12x3 and put that in front of your push plate, and then the piece of wood, and just shove it all through.
That's almost what you have to do, honestly. Like something like you'd have to get creative like that with it to make it work. Like when we redesigned the splitters about 2.5, 3 years ago, we went from a beam that was like 1/2 inch thick to an inch thick. So the last 3 years we've built a splitter. Like if you look at it, you're buying a beam. But when we did that, we made the pusher wider to accommodate the box width and stuff because we knew that was kind of the way the industry was going and what people were going to want. So when we kind of redesigned it there, that's kind of what my thought was on that. So
yeah, because when you are pushing through that box wedge, and you're like, if you're on a cross grain of a piece of wood, like something is got to give, and if you're not built for handling it, I've seen on the Wolf Ridge that Rick has. I mean, sometimes, it's just trying to force that piece of wood through, and holy moly's.
Step back.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if there's a right or wrong with it. Like with ours and the Timberwolf, if you look at it, the bottom of it's open. But the other problem you run into it, if you're not paying attention, you'll have those pieces come down. So you really got to be conscious of what you're doing. Where the Wolf Ridge, you're not going to run into that either, right? So there's pros and cons of doing it both ways, right? So
yeah. And then like I was just splitting today some maple that had a twist to it. Like the twisted, it just grew. If I would have been trying to put that through a box wedge, oh my goodness, it would have just been kindling. It would have just shaved it off and just been a nightmare. So it depends on your wood.
With the box wedge, you really have to remember that that knife is going to follow the grain of the wood. Yeah. If the grain starts off like this at one end of it and it comes down to this at the other end of it, that's a piece of wood you're going to get.
You're exactly right, though.
It really is. And like you can like if you have a knot on one, like normally you have a knot on a piece of wood, you're going to be able to get halfway through it before it gets ugly. Like normally you'll be able to get about halfway through the knot, keep it top and shave it off, and then kind of take the corners off, that sort of thing. That's the way to get around that. But you gotta like something like sycamore or like elm or like sweet gum or stuff like that. It's just ugly stuff to split. It doesn't matter how you do it. Or something, a yard tree. A yard tree is a good example of like if you get a tree that grows out in the open, it's not a nice tree. Yeah, doesn't matter the species. It's an ugly tree.
Yeah, because even with like a 4-way wedge, you run into problems with stuff like that. It's like you're just better with a single wedge.
It just doesn't grow straight. It's something that's out in the open. It doesn't. The grain isn't straight on it. So it's not a nice piece of wood.
Nope. Yeah. Oh, I see GP is heading to bed. So
cheers, Gord.
Cheers. Good looking new pup as well.
Yeah, it was a nice looking dog, that's for sure. Jimmy Plows. And why not Infinite? Holy cow, I can't even talk now. Innovations out of Alberta has a bagger similar to VPAC. And I remember that. Some guy did make one. I did see it. I haven't really seen much of it running, though. He posted it in the Firewood groups. But yeah, there is one made here now. I forgot about that. Thanks, Jimmy.
Well, right on.
Yeah. Buck and Firewood. Andrew, do you make a one-handed wood processor for guys like me that try to chop my hand off in a processor?
As a matter of fact, we do.
Yeah, you actually can, but all jokes aside, I hope you're all right and didn't lose your hand. That's not good. Tim Thomas is in the house.
Oh, boy. Watch out.
Yeah.
He's another Wisconsin woodhound right there.
Yeah. Any pressure yet to produce an electric processor?
Oh, I think there's 3 of them on the order board right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw somebody
pull. I saw somebody lost electric one. We had no problem doing it. if you have the power there and you're not moving the process around a lot, why would you not do that? It makes good sense. You don't have an engine to maintain. You go and you hit the button, she runs.
Yeah, exactly. I heard somebody say you weren't. I'm like, I swear you got orders for it. I didn't know what they were talking about.
We got 2 or 3 orders on the board right now for them. No problem at all. Not a big deal. We've done them before. It's nothing out of the realm of possibilities. So we're even doing a couple of electric splitters right now too. We're doing an Axis that's all electric, and we're doing a 2220 37D that's all electric right now. So
cool.
You got any plans for something that runs like up a treadmill or a wheel that you can run in?
We got to get a good horse for it, though. We got to sell the horse with it.
That would be a 1 horsepower splitter.
A 1 horsepower log splitter.
It's funny because we all know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh,
this was not planned before. Larry, he picked up a grain conveyor, 22-foot grain conveyor for $50 at an auction.
And that's the key, is just finding them here and there, because the thing is like a lot of the farmers around here, they've used them for so many years, they don't think they're worth anything or that anybody wants them. So they just end up usually scrapping them. That's the problem. It's like, but they make great wood conveyors. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can. I've seen some, if they got to be the right ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can get the chaff underneath the chain and really throw the chain. But yeah. Renee, I was the first order of the year, Eastmaid Axis. When could I expect to see it?
Oh, I can tell you in a second.
June 27th.
Yeah. November 25th.
3 p.m. on June 27th.
You're still going to be a little ways out, Renee. I'm not gonna tell you where you are on the schedule, but I'm gonna say late November, early December. I don't think you'd be in the new year, but that's an educated guess from an uneducated man.
Yeah, see, Stan Nelson has a comment there. He's got the idea that I'm going for. Is like, my wife likes to work out, so I'd like to get a treadmill. She runs on it. It runs the splitter. And so she's running and powering the splitter. It's like, it'd be the perfect thing.
I don't see how you could possibly go wrong with this, because you get to spend time in the wood yard and with your wife all at the same time. So
exactly,
you're happy and she's happy. I don't see how this is. It's a win-win.
I know.
And she still gets to work out.
Exactly.
Yep. Everybody wins.
We're on to something here, lads.
Yep.
Or maybe
fixing marriages too.
Maybe a bike. She could pedal.
Yeah. Cutting a little bit slow. You want to get on that a little bit more? Wow. Where was I now? I lost my Chris. We split and stack at 4 feet to dry, and then we cut it with a buzz saw off a tractor. We do 12 boards or more a day for deliveries. Yeah.
See, there you go. So maybe it probably stacks better too. You can make bigger stacks with the 4 foot, splits.
Yeah, we need some guys. It's just a different perspective that we're not used to, right? It's there's no right or wrong to it. It's just what you're used to.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right on that. And I saw James said down too, some big maple syrup producers using their evaporators.
Yeah, we have done that a handful of times. Like for maple syrup guys, they want long wood. So
yeah. Schwai, plastic's great, but does deteriorate after a while. They get pretty brittle, which is true. I doubt those plastic skids have any UV or anything in them. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, that's right too. I never even thought of that. Like he had it'd be a lot like those real fantastic Chinese bugs. So
that's right.
Chinese fire bugs.
Yeah.
Everybody likes them so much.
Yeah.
That was one interesting thing I noticed with mine is that they say, full UV protection, full weather protection, and then you get the bag, and on the label it shows a diagram with sun and rain in a big circle and a cross. Like, keep it out of the sun.
Really? You had some?
Yeah.
How'd they hold up for you? Seriously, like, did they actually hold up for you?
Well, I've only had them. I haven't emptied them out yet and reused them. So, but it just depends on, because Rick has a couple, and his wood yard is full sun all day, and yeah, they're breaking down.
Oh, really? I've seen a lot of the guys on Facebook that had bought them off of the folks overseas there, and they've been having a fucking terrible time with them. I don't know why, if they've made them better or not. They very well could have made them better by now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen the same thing. It was supposed to have UV protectant in it and didn't come with it, and it's got to have UV. We've got like the small 1 cubic foot bags without UV. Forget it. A month in the sun and they'll start ripping.
Yeah.
It is horrible. It's got to have UV.
I actually worked. I worked at a place. Right behind the shop, Kev, the factory behind us.
Yep.
Makes conveyor belts for paper machines, and we when they wove together the fabric, the one bunch of fabric had to be dark. Like, you couldn't have any light on. Like, you worked in the dark with it. Because it couldn't handle light. I guess it was an amazing fabric. You put it in the paper machine, it's dark and it works fantastic. But it's that's what it was. It had to stay in the dark all of the time.
Huh? That's crazy.
And it didn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how it works, but obviously somebody with more capacity than me figured it out. So
yeah.
The problem is the damn ozone's going away because of all of us people burning firewood.
It's only in New York that happens.
Just going to say, I think the carbon tax helped it close up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. The carbon tax here in Ontario, it's helped the ozone immensely. The air the last 2 days has been way better.
Yeah,
I've noticed
the whole over Canada moved down south here now. It's over us. That hole in the ozone keeps moving.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we'll just leave that one where it is now.
Yeah.
Move on. I had to. You threw up a softball. You got to hit it. Schwab, what horsepower motors are you using on the electric splitters?
For the Axis, it's going to be 10 horsepower. That'll be lots to run the Axis, and then the bigger splitter, I guess the 3070, 2028 is going to be 20 horsepower.
Those are 220 or 120?
Whatever voltage somebody wants, we could do. Because that's the other hard thing with electric, is that there's so many guys that have different voltages too, right?
Yeah.
Like a 10 horsepower, you could run 220 single phase, same as like a welder plug sort of thing. You'd be like a 60 or 70 amp breaker. Where when you get in 20 horsepower, like you'd have to go 3 phase, and then do you do 220 or do you do 480? Do you 575 here in Canada? Do you do like, I think there's like 200 when you go overseas. There's so many different. Oh,
I didn't know we had Thomas Edison.
We have to be specified. Like, we can order it that way. So.
Yeah. I didn't know Thomas Edison was here tonight. Oh, we got the voltage and the wattage. Man, my mind was just like blowing right there by all those numbers.
How do we get this number up? How about some more thumbs up? Let's go. What Renee Sanchez says.
Yeah.
Keep this going here, guys. Oh, here's a good question. Any PTOs? Question PTO after seeing the free.
Probably not. It's a hard thing. When by the time you buy a good PTO pump for anything, by the time you do that, you're fucking near the same amount of price as you are to just buy an engine and a pump. Like good engine and a pump, and like a good PTO pump, you're almost the same price. So they're not. You still have to have the hydraulic pump, or you still have to have the hydraulic tank and stuff like that. You can run off the auxiliaries of the tractor, but they don't run high enough pressure, enough flow to make a wood splitter viable, in my opinion. So you have to have a PTO pump, and that respect, you're not saving a lot.
Yeah.
I think he meant PTO as in paid time off for your employees, Andrew.
Oh yes, there's lots of that at Easton Made. We want to attract good people like yourself, Dan. So when you're ready,
paid time off, PTO.
We can get you a visa.
Get you a visa.
Oh.
Shibe says 2 90-pound wheels with the wife pedaling. Now that would be a good 1 hour workout.
Yeah. I could get a lot split in an hour.
Yeah. What's Justin's got? Here's a thought for you, Andrew. Put like a ski on the leveling supports so a guy doesn't have a conveyor. They can just keep splitting and push itself forward.
Oh, you can do that 100%. I have a video of a 511 run at that. I don't know what 511 video it is, but like I make like a big windrow that's like 30 feet long. We just keep splitting and push. It just keeps pushing the splitter back.
Yep.
Yeah. I think this is for you, Dan. You need to find a bunch of cedar 4x4. They last a long time.
Yeah, I actually have a bunch of right now they're just like little smaller cedar poles, just like 4-6 inch diameter, and I'm planning on using them. I just had to get them out from under the other pallets that I had them on.
Yeah. Oh, I miss Gringo, but cheers.
Gringo Pines.
See ya. Sorry I missed that, Gringo. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hope you have a great night. Videos by Al. He says the big egg seed bags will only last 30 days in the summer sun.
Woo.
That'd be expensive. Right? That'd be expensive spill if it was corn seed. Like a small bag of corn is like around $200. Yeah, that'd be expensive. Rocky Mountain Fire. Oh man, you have many firewood complainers. They think we're polluting. Yeah, that's
yep.
The biggest complaint this year is prices being adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
And price of, fuel surcharges and everything's going up. It's you got to, right?
Yep.
Everybody's why do I have to pay for it?
We can held our prices for a long time. There's no possible way steel's gonna stay at this price. There's no possible way the shipping's gonna stay at this price.
Yeah.
No way the hit's here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got Off Grid with Doug and Stacy's here. Across the enemy lines. Wolf Country. What's up, fellas? How's it going, Doug?
Yes.
Cheers, man.
Stan, any new pumps or valve news for splitters? I don't think he'd be spilling the beans on that. If there was
not a whole lot. Besides the piston pumps, which isn't anything really new now, but the piston pumps, they're able to run at an incredible pressure. So you get away with quite a bit with the piston pumps. You see them on the diesel machines. So when you pay the money for the diesel machine, you have that pump. But after that, above that, I don't know what else it would be. I think we've pretty well hit the limit here, unless I have a dream tonight and figure out a different way of doing it. So,
isn't that what beer does? You end up saving the world, right? A beer and a bonfire.
Yeah, me and John Molson figured a lot of things out. I'll tell you.
Yeah, many of those nights. Rocky Mountain saying he's got a couple of Karens in town. Boy, let me tell you. Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
Yep.
they're everywhere. What do we got? Driftless Homestead. Do you guys advise sharpening the box wedge? If so, do I need to worry about heat?
No, not at all, Harry. If you want to sharpen it, go ahead and sharpen it. They do work better when they're sharp. When we send them out, we don't. If you look at your wedges, Harry, that they're blunt. Like there's probably an 8 3/16, maybe a quarter even on the wedges. You can sharpen them up. The reason we don't do it is just for safety. If you drop that wedge on you anywhere, it's putting a gouge in you. It's going to your butts.
You're losing a toe.
Yeah, you literally.
That's exactly it. Like that's we learned that the hard way. Like we probably 10 years ago, we had like probably 4 or 5 guys. Well, not that many. Probably 2 or 3 guys go for stitches within about 6 weeks at the shop for like good gouges. We used to sharpen the knives in the processor, right? Like make them like a razor.
Oh,
but like, as soon as you drop something, your slip or whatever, like you're gonna be going for some fun about the other sort of stuff. So I don't sharpen them at all. If you want to, it works. They do work better. I just don't do it on my end of it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. You know, anybody reaching around. Same with on the big split, the big processor. Same thing. You're in there getting a big block out or something. You touch that, it's gonna hurt. Or stitches, like you said, right?
Oh yeah, like it's honestly we can make them just like we can make them like a razor, like the Air 400. You can literally make it just as sharp as you make a knife easily.
Yeah, I don't think you got to do that though. No. Where did I miss? There's one more here.
Because then to maintain that, I mean, after a few hours of splitting, you're going to wear that edge off, you know. So.
Oh yeah, and like the stuff that like the Air 400 that we make the wedges and same as what Chris says, it'll hold an edge for a long time. It really will. It's just that it's like the risk and reward thing. If you make a mistake or if you come across it the wrong way, like I've been at shows before, like pulled 6-way wedges out before because like they pull it really nice and easy, right? And then I look at my arm and there's like a great big gash across my arm from pulling the 6-way out because it got the top wing.
Yeah. Oh,
you're bleeding there. Oh, well, I didn't even know because they're so sharp, right? So.
It's the corners. The corner, even if they're dull, those corners of the wings and stuff, they'll get you pretty good. Yeah. We got Eric K. Cheers from the great state of Wisconsin. Chug along.
Yes. Cheers. I don't know if you noticed, but I was the last one to put my drink down. just saying. These little Canadian sips up there. Oh,
we got Jimmy Plows. It would be nice to see you guys in Vanderzam Firewood shirts next live stream. Kev, let me know what size shirts you'll need and I'll drop them off. I'm sure you can get them to Dan and Andrew. Well, I can make that happen, Jimmy.
All right.
You let me know. You bring them by. These guys will let me know, and I can make sure they get them. He's one of the guys we deal with, one of our wholesale guys. So,
okay.
I think he's got a Bell's disc cleaner from you. Just before I think you were there running already. It was the last of the Bell stuff going out when you took it over.
Oh, it's entirely possible. Yeah, we did a couple of. Like 1 or 2 disc screeners after I took over before we went right to disc screeners exclusively.
Yeah. So he was I'm positive he was one of them. Buck and Firewood, he said he had half cube bags for kindling, and when he picked up the bag to sell, the bag turned into dust, literally. And they do, it's brutal if they're in the sun.
You pick the bag up when the wood stays there.
Yeah. Literally, it is crazy.
That would suck so bad.
Oh, yeah.
We got Corwin Gray Container System. You guys should have Chris Wolf on next month.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
I'd be all for it. I could sit here and visit with Chris all night. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I'm good with it. If everyone else is good with it, I'm good with it. Make that happen. Billy Bob's got a good. He is price.
Yeah.
Price of booze is way more up here. A 2-4 of these is
drastically more, like a 24 cans of Molson Canadian. It's $48.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
$48 a case of beer. Yeah.
Holy moly's!
And you have to buy it at the beer store. You can't just go into like a gas station and buy it.
Oh yeah, if you're running late from work, you wish you would have had lunchtime. I'll tell you, because you can't just go to the corner store and buy it here.
Jeepers!
It blows my mind. Like when we go down to Ohio, it's like I just go into the gas station to pay so I can see how cheap the beer is, and then just get mad and like, why do we pay so much? It's ridiculous, and it's going up again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Schwab, not sure what the main wedge on the Rugged Made is made of, but it's squared off from the 4-way and 6-way. I rarely use a single wedge. Yeah, I don't know what they make. It should be AR 400, but who knows what they're making it out of. But it's squared off.
Like, yours would be the same where it slips over top, Dan, and then the wedge kind of pushes up against it a wee bit, eh?
Oh, that could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what Dan, what Shive's talking about there.
Yeah. So over time, that slip over wedge is pushing against the main single.
Is moving just a little wee bit. If it wasn't made out of like AR 400 or something, it would kind of peen over on you,
right? Corey wants to know: have you come up with the pizza wedge yet? Thank you for that, Corey. I was waiting. Yeah, Jimmy thinks he got the last blue and gray disc cleaner. Oh, Andy's got an Eastern-made Ultra as well. I didn't realize he got an Ultra.
Yeah, no, I think he does. Yeah. No, it would probably be the last. If it would have been like last year, it would likely be the very last one. Like, we didn't do that many of them, and then the last year we've been doing crazy amount of disc cleaners. We're probably doing like one. I would say probably 4 disc cleaners a week, 3 or 4 disc cleaners a week right now.
Holy moly's!
You wouldn't think there'd be that big of a market for them, but it's kind of one of those things that kind of exploded. They work really well, mind you. Like that, it serves its purpose and does an amazing job of what it does. So
yeah.
But there's always that one piece though that gets stuck. And my OCD would never be able to handle that. There's always that one piece that's sitting in there and it won't come through.
You're not wrong at all. You're absolutely right.
There's always one piece that gets stuck in there.
You're 100% right. There would be. And you've been sitting there every day and watch it roll around and they're why the hell's not coming out or going out.
I'm going to make sure when I post a video, it has one piece in there sitting, just rolling in there the whole time so you can watch it, Dan.
You're going to have to like a 5-minute clip of just that one piece. Just Dad.
Focus on that and just
zoom in at it.
Just to see if it ever works itself out. Because it never does. It's like, it just finds that one, that one spot that it just won't get out of.
You're going to have to make sure, Kev, that when you do it, you dump like 3 or 4 more buckets on top of that. Just so you can ensure it doesn't come out with the bucket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Start having bets on that. Jimmy, before I forget, you're bringing T-shirts, you got to bring one for Pete or he is going to be mad. Where were we here? Schwab, I thought you had a pizza wedge, Andrew.
We do for the splitters, yeah.
Is the pizza wedge like just a smaller split?
Yeah.
Like
it'll do about between 2 and 2.5 inches or so wide. But like, you've got to have a good way to put in it. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like it's a box wedge that splits really fine, but like you have to have good quality stuff going into it. Like, yeah, I would say like 14, 15 inches and under, and clean stuff.
Yeah.
You can do bigger stuff, but obviously when you get a bigger piece of wood, you're normally not a clean piece of wood, right? So
yeah.
Dean Parks, what's the price of firewood per face cord in your areas, just to see on average?
Huh.
What do you like there, Dan?
I saw last week $60.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Wow. We are we'd be 100. We're right now 350 doing green orders. A full cord.
Oh yeah, a cord. Yeah,
a full cord. So we don't do a lot of bush cord or face cord.
Face
We're
cords.
full cord. So
yeah, we have a lot of those. What I call like the weekend warriors. You know,
Yep.
they go out, they find a standing dead tree, they cut it down. The next week, they put it on Facebook Marketplace and they try to make a quick $50, and all over the place. That's all. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. And that, if you want to catch the rest of that episode, that's at the Woodhounds podcast right there.
We talked about it on the podcast. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I listened to it today, as a matter of fact. The different ricks and cords and bush cords and doodad cords and pickup truck loads and throwing wood in Jeeps.
Yep.
I listened to it. I was there for it.
Well, you were vacuuming?
I don't know what I was doing at that time. I was doing something productive. I know that for sure.
Jimmy, tell him his shirt is right next to my Pal Lumber shirt. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Now I've got a bone to pick with Pete now. I didn't know there was a Pal Lumber shirt.
Oh yeah, there's Pal Lumber shirts. Well,
there's two of them coming out now, Jimmy.
We'll give them to Jeremy when he shows up.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I think he'll be there Tuesday.
Yeah,
Monday,
yeah,
Tuesday. We finished up today.
Yeah, that's what I think he said. Rocky Mountain Firewood, $100 Canadian for fir, spruce, and pine, ready to go burn.
Yeah, that's what and that's the whole thing, is that too many people, I think, get in the mindset of they want to sell cheaper just to get the money, when they don't realize if you just stuck to the standard, like higher price, $100 a face cord. I mean, that's, let's say that's the average. If you just stick to that instead of just trying to move it quick and get a easy score, I mean, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, too many people, like you said, there's or like Joe says, the guy with the Poulan in a truck, right?
Yep. Just go out and
beer money.
Yep. Just go and get a quick $50 and everybody's happy.
It's the same with every single business. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like whether it be what we do with building wood splitters, and so you can go and buy a cheap wood splitter. And like my wife owns a hair salon. You can go and get yourself a cheap haircut. But the biggest thing is when you charge what your time is worth and what it's worth to people, they tend to have a lot better respect for you. Then it might be a little bit slower to get going, but you have to be conscious of that, and don't sell yourself short, because all you're going to do is fuck your own market.
Yep. 100%.
Well, and that's the thing, is I think a lot of the people on Facebook Marketplace selling, like, they have maybe 2 or 3 face cords to sell, but then that's it. They're not looking to establish a customer base. They're not looking to do this going forward. They just want a quick $50 and then they're done.
Yeah, and it's guys you wouldn't look at them as competition to you, right? It's just they're going to sell 2 customers, and that's it, right?
Yep.
It's it's gone. But normally a lot of guys, they know who the big guys are. We know all the big guys around us, and they're always going to be there. And you have a small guy here and a small guy there that sell, 10 or 15 bush cord or full cord a year. And that's it. That's kind of how it works. And then, the chainsaw and a truck, those guys want to make a few bucks.
It's no different at all. Because you want to, you got to make sure that that you're selling a good product, and like even on our end of it, like people that are going to buy a good product aren't going to look at the $50-$60 FIREWOOD guy. If somebody wants to buy good firewood, they bought bad firewood before. They want good stuff now.
That's the key.
So they're going to call the guy that has the ad up for a higher price. It's no different than any other business. It's just the way that it is. So
they'll buy that $50 FIREWOOD once, and that's it.
You're 100% right.
Yep.
We were looking. So Friday we were doing something else on this job, but they're clearing to make the road wider, and they've got all the brush and logs sitting at the side of the road. Somebody pulled up, stopped, got out talking to us. They're like, "Yeah, can we take some of this firewood? We just like to cut it for ourselves." And we're like, "Well, no." It's not even ours, right? But we're like, no, you can't do that. You're on a highway. You can't just go and what if we come at night? And we're like, what? I do whatever you want. It's not ours, right? But this is how, turn around and sell for $50 a cord or a face cord, right? It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. And we were there like 30 seconds and these people pulled up. Can we take that? What do we got? Brad, $1 a mile after 10 miles for delivery. So we're the same too for delivery. Once you get too far with the price of fuel, you got to start putting that price on, right? Fuel ain't cheap anymore.
I would think at $1 a mile, that is incredibly fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Because 10 miles, he's right around, that's what, 16K. So he's right around where we are. We're a little bit farther. We'll do it before delivery charge, but we're right in there, right? You got to.
Oh, 100%. You can't do it for free.
Yeah, exactly. But it's trying to get people to recognize that, right? They don't want to.
No.
Yeah. Where'd I see? There's a bunch of other prices up here. So what do we got? Third, $100 for a third, $360 for a full cord.
Yep.
Billy Bob's wood, $60 I'd buy and resell, which you could, but you got to be careful what you're buying.
Yeah, but then it's just garbage.
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
you can't resell it. That's the problem.
So he's 300 green, 400 seasoned. That's in NH, New Hampshire, I believe. Am I right on that? NH?
Yep.
Yeah.
New Hampshire,
Roadside logging.
Yeah, road logging. Cheers.
Woo-hoo! Oh. Whoa, look at that. Look at Mr. Easton pounding it down. My goodness.
Just for you, Dan.
Oh.
Ontario Firewood Resource. I had a customer who bought 3 cords of live edge slabs for $300 US delivered from far, and he ended up calling me the next year because it burned too quick. Exactly, because it's slab wood.
Slab wood.
Yep. It's your burning bark.
I think Anthony is like right downtown Toronto. I think he's like right, almost right in the GTA.
Oh wow!
He came up last year this time for a visit and showed around the shop. And if you haven't watched any of his videos, go over and check them out. They're pretty awesome.
The GTA, what is The Grand Theft Auto?
It could be called that, depending on what area you're in.
Yeah. The greater Toronto area.
Oh.
Like, if you want to talk about urban sprawl, I think that is the worst case of it in the entire universe.
Oh, it is so true.
You're laughing, but to literally drive across Toronto, I think you're probably 3 hours.
Oh, it's
really,
and that's covering ground. That's moving at a good pace. By the time you get from one end, from the west end of Toronto to like the easterly end of what would be considered Toronto, you're probably 2.5, 3 hours out, eh, Kev?
Yeah, yeah, I guess depending on what time you leave. Excuse me.
Wow. And then where you start at, like, if you're down below Hamilton, like Hamilton's Toronto, like to me, that's Toronto.
Hamilton's not quite considered GTA, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Like coming down the QE, yeah. What's that?
It's Toronto.
Yeah, it's Toronto. So if I go to Andrews, we got to be on the road by 5 o'clock. And when did we leave last time? 5 o'clock or 5:30? If you're not on the highway by 5:30, 5 or 5:30, you're stuck in traffic. Like it's
in the
that
morning?
bad. Yeah. And we're 10 minutes from the highway. We're borderline GTA where we live. So anybody coming west of the Toronto, you got to leave that much earlier if you're going to Andrews to pick up or going to Cottage Country or whatever up that way, right? Toronto, I try to stay away. I know guys that do deliveries. They do two full cord deliveries, $2,500 delivered. Underground parking they have to go in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't a one time. He's done it 2 or 3 years in a row. So it's not like a one-time deliver. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, we lost Andrew. He must have chugged that beer too fast.
he put that one back to that last sip was too big. That's it.
He's like gone. He's not even on my screen.
He's out of here. Yeah, he's out of here.
Terra Fire Reserves. Not that much. I'm a seasoned driver, so I know which lanes to be in. Lanes to be in. And that's true. That's the other thing. We're going through Toronto. You got to know what lanes you got to be in, and collectors, and was it GTA? 20 million people or 10 million people. Sorry, Eesh. That's a third. Let's get Andrew back here. We thought you had chugged that beer too fast and you're done.
Jeez.
Hey, we're just going for a trip across the GTA.
In your helicopter, that was quick.
That's exactly it. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Toronto's terrible. I would think I would compare it to Chicago, maybe. But I drove around Chicago at a bad time of day. Chicago don't compare at all. Chicago's like a walk in the park.
So Jimmy, he's going into Toronto almost every day to the what's the terminal he's going to? I forget the terminal he's going to. So yeah, he knows an hour and a half to 2 hours guaranteed.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't think there's enough gold in Fort Knox to make me want to deal with that for nothing.
Nope.
Not even a little bit. I just don't. I don't think I could do it. I have a buddy that drives in from Oshawa to Toronto every day, and I just there'd be no way. There's not a dollar value you could put on that to make me want to do that.
Yeah. It's funny too when you go into the city. So if you're going eastbound, you got traffic up to the 404 DVP, I believe it's called. And after that, the traffic just switches. It's like clear sailing going east. Westbound's all backed up. They're all hitting that same road, right? It's crazy.
Oh, and if you're actually downtown Toronto, we've done a couple of things downtown Toronto where like you're literally right like blocks in the Sky Dome.
Yeah.
And like 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, like the people on the streets is completely and totally insane. And the cars. I don't even know where I don't know where you park a car downtown Toronto. I don't even know what it costs to park a car downtown Toronto. It'd be completely and totally mind-boggling what it would actually cost to park a car there. You wouldn't even want to think of what it would cost you to park one.
For a Leaf game at the old Maple Leaf Gardens, it was $20 to park at the lots there.
That was 25 years ago. There was a Maple Leaf Gardens, Kev.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm just saying. The price, that's probably double now. Better off just taking the train in.
That's what we do. Like, we ever need to go downtown, like me and the wife, like we hit the GO train in Oshawa, and we take the GO train downtown, take the subway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any other way you could possibly do that, and it'd be. I didn't know where you park. Like, it wouldn't even be so bad that the cost of you could park. You can't even park anywhere.
Yeah. Dean Parks, do you have a production cut up line for slab wood for bundles? Something like a log processor.
I don't. I think it'd be a good idea.
That'd be like a slasher, like one of those little buzz saws.
Yeah.
Kind of do what you need.
That would probably the best resource, the best way to go about that. Honestly, Kev, I think you're right on with that. I don't think there's any for me to step into that world and do that. I don't think it'd be.
Then so like, let's say you take your slab wood off the mill, you buzz saw it into bundles, and you put the bundles in the bag, and then you go to pick up the bag 6 months later, and they fall apart. That's the problem.
You bought the wrong bag, son.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what the hell? Because I always thought about making bundles ahead of time and just storing them, but my fear was like mice or rodents getting in there and chewing the bags, you know. But the sun as well. I mean, those bags, they're not made for that.
No. Which sucks because that's what you want them for, and they end up.
Yep.
Did you buy them right online, or did you buy them through a supplier, like a local guy?
Just online, yeah.
Yeah. So Ontario Firewood Resource near DVP 401. Yeah, he's right in the thick of it.
I figured he was right there. Yeah, fuck yeah. There's not enough. You put a fucking value on it. You just never get me to do it. I swear to God. Give me $10 million. Not a chance.
Holy mollies.
You could almost buy a condo there though for $10 million and just walk.
You're pretty close to buying a condo there for that, yeah. It's just completely totally bonkers.
Yeah, so everybody lives in condos, and that used to be parking lots. And that's what they do. Where you got to put people, you got to go up. Like anything, right?
Oh, it's crazy. It's just completely and totally insane. Like
that's the same thing I'm doing with my stacks of wood.
Yeah.
Got to go up, got to go higher. That's the best way to increase how much you can put in your wood yard.
So you're running out of urban sprawl is what you're saying, eh?
Yeah. I built that little shelter, and I'm stacking like 7 feet high, and it's just crazy how much wood fits into my little shelter compared to just making 4-foot stacks. You know, it's.
Yeah. Did you ever think of a plan for the steel for the holes in your steel yet?
Well, I'm working on it.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong to that one. I have no idea.
I don't know. But the whole thing is that the reason I want to get the wood under a shelter is to keep the rain off of it. So I need to plug the holes up, you know, like I think that's key. So
I would think even having the steel on there, like even if you had a couple of holes in it, it's going to be significantly better than what it was.
Oh yeah. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like after watching that, like I'm intrigued just to follow the channel to see how you accomplish this, and whichever way you go with it, I'm just excited to see it. Because I don't know if you'd even necessarily need to plug them or not.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know how it is. Murphy's Law. if you leave that one hole unplugged, all the water is going to go in there and just, I've seen it too many times.
You're absolutely right. It'd be just like a fountain or garden that was sprayed on that one stack and one at the end that trickles down to all the other ones.
Exactly. And then the next year you'd go to take that stack down and it'd just be like mold and mush all the way through it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Oh.
I think too, with your firewood shed filled right up, back to the sawmill. Need to cut some lumber, make it 2-story.
I know. Yeah,
I
have a bunch of like saw logs sitting here, and like my uncle has a sawmill, and then Rick has a sawmill, but it's always that challenge of feeling like you need to rely on somebody else.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
that is the worst. That's one thing I hate it. I hate having to rely on somebody else to do something for me. It just
right.
Yeah, not to drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have been looking at a few different mills, so I'll just toss that out there right now. But it all is a matter of logistics.
Yeah. There's some good homeowner sawmills out there.
Would you be interested in one that was orange and blue? Would you?
A sawmill?
Oh, I wouldn't get that at all. I got fucked up 5 ways from Friday. I'm not a sawmill guy at all. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Jeremy's gonna be getting calls in the morning. I heard you guys are making a sawmill. I'd like to order one.
Yeah, that's exactly. The phone will be ringing off the hook.
0 waiting time. Next day delivery.
Yeah, but that be something. Yeah.
Corin Gray, he just stays up in Gray Bruce. I care less about going down to Toronto. I hear you on that. We try to stay away from it. Schwab, he's making bags ahead of time. Keeps them in his sunroom, and he hasn't had a problem. They stay dry and out of the sun.
Yeah, he's got like a little sunroom porch off of his house, so it's out of the sun, but like it's warm in there.
More like a greenhouse effect.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. What do we got? Lug and Tug Sawmill. Checking my firewood chop saw video. So he's probably got one that he's doing. Looks like he's got a little wood miser mill there too. Huh. Ontario Firewood. Without rush hour, it's 12 minutes to all city limits for him. Is that just Toronto city limits or GTA city limits? There's no way that's GTA city limits.
If he left at like 2 in the morning, maybe. 1?
Yeah, he's got to be talking Toronto.
Are there any moderators still on here?
Yeah, I think Al.
I just was looking at the chat there. I'm like,
if it were just Toronto, like the Toronto city limits, then that'd be right. But it's like for me, like if I'm in like Colburn or Coburg, I'm in Toronto.
And that'd be GTA.
That's
like, Toronto.
For me, that like it would start like just about there, and then like Hamilton would be like the far side of it. Like that's an awful swath of land, but for me being like an outside kind of guy that's never dealt with a whole lot, that's what I would consider to be the GTA there.
Yeah. We got videos by Al. We sell sawmill slabs and edgings for $5 a linear foot. Bundle is around 3 feet in diameter, 1,500 pounds. Oak costs more. So I think he's talking $5. So basically a 10-foot round bundle of slabs is $50. I'm guessing that's how he does it, which is actually a good way of doing that. I think he'll correct me. And he missed that. I see what you were talking about there with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that fly by.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I'll just go down there. He's on there. NNZ big bags. Any good? I've never heard of him. Dan?
Never heard of him.
No. Huh.
I think Andrew just did what I needed to do.
I'm going for a beer. Leave me alone.
Oh. I got to go to the recycling plant here and recycle what I've put in through.
When you go to the recycling plant and we'll keep these folks entertained. How's that sound?
Yeah. I got a question here. You're welcome to go, Dan.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, for sure. A Buick guy. Will Isame be attending the Midwest Firewood Frenzy?
Where's Dan?
I don't know, because that's his deal, is it not?
I don't know when it. I don't know when it is, honestly. Like if it's over on that side, like it would be really good to be able to go to that, because it's always a really good area. But it's for us, it's a long haul. Like for me to drive to get to where Dan is, I would be 21, 22 hours.
Yeah.
It's a long poke for me to get there. I would absolutely love to go. June 11th, Shive said.
Whereabouts is he? Approximately?
Dan can't be. He said he's 5 miles from Wolfridge, and Chris is in Eau Claire, so it is the western side of Wisconsin. It's not. I would think you're probably an hour a bit outside of. Outside of Minnesota.
It's just here.
It's June. If it's June, well, it would depend on whether we can cross the border or not, too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm 12 hours, and right through Chicago.
Yeah. So if you're 12 hours, I would have to be probably 17, 18. I'm 5 hours to you, and there's no other. there's no other way to go. I'd have to go by your doorstep. Oh, there's Dan.
Hey, all right, I'm back.
They actually, on Google Maps, they give you the most fuel efficient way too.
Oh, well, what I'll have to do is I'll just have to send Dan an Easton made so he can show it off at the Midwest Firewood Frenzy.
Yeah, see if we can get that.
Holy, yeah, that's a long
See,
haul.
right, where am I? Right there. Most fuel efficient way. 1,200 kilometers. That's a big hike out your way, Dan.
Yeah,
that's a plane. I'd fly that.
Yeah, that would be a long drive.
Me and Andrew show up in his helicopter.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll fly the helicopter over to you, Dan, and we'll drop the Easton meat off in your yard, and you can tow it over to Midwest Firewood Frenzy for me.
Oh, all right. I don't know about that.
That's crazy. Where are we? Andrew, you can do that. Seattle to Los Angeles is the same drive time for him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. I would be surprised if Seattle to Los Angeles wouldn't be less than that. Actually, come to think of it, I did. I can make Orlando in about 20 hours.
Orlando, you're 20 hours down there. Holy cow!
I'd be 20 hours. I'd probably be at 17. I'd hit Florida, and then about two and a half to get to Orlando.
Is that with the kids or without the kids?
That would be without the kids. It's normally 2.5, 3 days with the kids.
Yeah. It's amazing how that time changes all of a sudden.
Yes, that's exactly. In Richmond, Virginia, you used to be able to easily do it in a day, and now it's a struggle. It's a hard time making a Richmond in a day.
Yeah, better leave early.
You know, it's a long way to Richmond going south on 95 two-way.
Yeah.
The country music guys will get that one.
I'm not a country music guy, so I ain't getting it.
Well, the country music guys will know it's a long ways to Richmond going north on 95. Going south is just as bad.
What about the outdoor farm show in Woodstock?
We probably won't be at that one either. Honestly, we're doing 2 shows this year. We're doing Boonville and we're doing the Paul Bunyan show in Ohio.
Yeah.
Like there's we've had just about every kind of firewood.
I'm getting this damn ceiling fan out of the frame.
Is that my biggest fan up there?
Jeez, it is. It's one of my fans is coming into the frame.
No, we've done a lot of different farm shows. We've done a lot of different trade shows, stuff like that. For what we do, it's very when you're spending money on marketing and advertising, you have to make sure it's very targeted, especially for what we do. So if you do like a farm show or something, there's going to be 30,000 people there, but there's going to be 200 that are interested in wood splitter.
Yeah.
Where if I invest the money into YouTube, like you got like Dan or Kev or whatever, 7,000 people a week.
Right.
You know
Target
what I mean?
marketing.
That's exactly it. I'm better off to invest my money into that than I am to going to a show that's not as targeted to or geared towards what we're doing. That's why you see us go to like Boonville. Like Boonville's a very firewood friendly show. Paul Bunyan show is much like that. Those are the two big players in terms of firewood shows. Those would be the two big players. There's other trade shows, log shows, and stuff like that aren't. We don't get as much value out of them as say a different manufacturer like John Deere or Tiger Cat or some is building big equipment, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, where they're going to those shows, and that's what they're going to have guys there that they're having dealers go for them too, right? With Tiger Cat.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't down there. You may end up seeing us go that way where we have dealers, but I haven't seen the value in it on my end of it. We may end up doing it. I just don't. At this point right now, we're selling as much or more than we can possibly produce, and the customer service on our end of it seems to be a lot easier talking directly to the customer rather than playing a game of telephone. So
yeah.
But it just goes to show though, like the evolution of how things, back in the day, that was the only way you could see equipment, was to go to these shows.
Yep.
And now you get to see real world, like people running things anytime you want. And that's the interesting thing that, like some of these shows like Paul Bunyan, even, I think sometimes it's kind of getting to the point where a certain group of people go there, not necessarily for the equipment, but just to like meet other people and, talk amongst people that they've chatted with online or they met with online and just get together. I mean, that's
absolutely. And if you look at it, I wish I could show you a map. Like, if you look at the areas of where we sell wood splitters and the areas of where there's wood, it's a hard line. It really is. Like if you look, like we have a pin map on Google Maps that we can look at, and we can pull up everybody that's ever bought an East to Mead, where they are, what their phone number is, what machine they have, and like if you can literally draw a line, like a hard line of where we sell wood splitters and where we don't. Like Ohio is a big part of that, and New York State is a big part of that. Like you get. Once you go west of Wisconsin, you get a little bit into Minnesota, and then once you start going further than that, like and then if you look at it in terms of how many people there's nobody in there. If you look at the population of the United States of America, there's nothing through the middle. Honestly, there's absolutely no people in the middle.
Yep.
Like it kind of funnels down, and then you have Texas at the bottom. A lot of people. You go north of Texas and go up, fall. There's no people there.
Right. But and that's that's the one thing, like with the Firewood Frenzy, like that's one of the focuses we had was more or less like on just getting the people together to meet one another. Not so much the focus on the equipment, but like the focus is on, hey, you know, every couple of weeks you see so-and-so in the comments, or you see so-and-so on a live stream. Now you get together and you get to meet one another and put a face to a name. Like that's, I think, is the value that some of these shows are starting to bring. It's not so much on the equipment. It's more or less the people coming together to, you know, get to know each other.
And networking is just as critical as anything else in terms of success for everybody. Because like, I know myself, when I go to a show, you get to talk to so many different people and what their needs are, what their wants are, what they actually need to make their business or whatever they're going to do successful. And that's just as important for me as it is anything else. Is if the end user can't be successful in what they're doing, then I can't be successful in what I'm doing. I have to make sure that my customer, whoever I'm going to sell to, has something that they're going to succeed with.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. You got it. That's how it works.
Yep.
And then once other people, because that's how your business keeps on going too, right? It's they see other people be successful.
Uh-oh.
I'll be back.
Yeah, that's all right. But you see other people being successful, and that just keeps driving them, whether it's, you know, Easton Made, Wolfridge, whatever, right? Whatever brand, that's going to keep it going too.
And now that's gone down another like level from the companies that produce the equipment to the consumers who use it, where, you know, so-and-so is doing so many cords of firewood a year. Well, how are you doing that? Or how are you making these bundles so efficiently? Or how are you, you know, like that's the next level down now, is that people can get together and talk to one another about how they do things. And you know, that's the thing that I think is great. Uh-oh. Yeah. I got somebody snuck in here behind me.
Replacement?
Nope. Just the little boss man is checking in.
Oh. How you doing, boss man? Good. Looks sleepy.
Yes.
It's almost past ready for your bedtime, isn't it?
Yeah, it is almost my bedtime. Yeah. And this is, you know, people, they want to talk to other people that are running it, right? They can hear some sales guy throw their pitch out, but they want to see real world, right? Like you were saying, you want to talk to, whether it's, you know, John over here or Joe over there or someone that does YouTube, whatever. They want to hear your opinion of it because you run it all the time, day in and day out, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
They don't want some guy that's flying around in his helicopter, driving around the GTA, you know, drinking his, what was that stuff? Molson's? $48 a case beer. I mean, those guys, you know, they might not quite be on the same level as everyone. You got to put that pinky up, though.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh,
so Wade King,
you guys are absolutely right. Like I've run in that before that. I just assume, people really have to talk to the guys that run them, because like I can pump you full of shit all day, but whether you believe me or not, it's a different story, right? So
yeah. Yeah, it's we've had.
We lost the host.
Did Kev drop off the face of the earth? No, Kev, come back. Where'd you go?
He's froze. He's frozen.
Is that what happened to me? Did I freeze kind of like that?
I don't know. Maybe we.
Did I have a silly look on my face?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe we're not even still going. Are we still going?
I think people are still typing over there. Maybe we're just sitting here talking to ourselves. Do you think?
I don't know.
It's entirely possible.
Somebody send us a chat message, just a thumbs up or something. If we're
Skitter
still...
Kev, Howard just went out here.
Uh-oh. And I think he's the only one that can end the stream.
Tonight on the Back 40 live stream, Saturday night edition, here's Dan.
The longest live stream ever.
That's hilarious.
So we're still going.
It looks like it. Like, people are wondering if I actually have a helicopter. No, I don't own a helicopter. No, I'm not.
You just lease it?
What's it? No, I don't even lease one. The lad that owns Corking is right next door to us, eh? So Bob Hanson flies his helicopter to work every day.
Really?
So that's where the helicopter joke comes into play. Is right there. Kevin Pete were over there a couple of weeks ago. We had a big joke about Bob flying his helicopter work every couple of weeks. It's pretty awesome. Like, good for Bob. It's just I'll be sitting we'll be sitting in the wood yard and you see Bob fly over top of us and you're just shaking your fist and get out of here, Bob.
Oh, so yeah, we are in an interesting scenario here because the host of the stream that has the ability, the only one that can shut and end the live stream, has now lost power, but the live stream still continues.
It's a song that never ends. It's a song that never ends, Dan. Like, it just goes on and on, my friend.
I don't know what's going to happen here.
Who's the next person on the list here? Have you got another question? Who's got more questions here?
But we can't bring him on because
how does that power go out where Kev lives?
I have no idea what But I suppose if we both disconnected, that would just leave a blank screen?
I don't know where it would end up. Let me text him. Give me a second.
All right. So, anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned earlier, this is Uncharted Waters. The host of the live stream has lost power. Andrew and I are held hostage, continuing the show, not knowing when will it end. We're 2 hours and 9 minutes into this thing.
We're gonna be here till tomorrow. Oh
no! I don't know if
I can't pull. I can't. Can you pull anybody up for a question at all?
No, I have zero control.
James Bainton is wondering, do I notice a huge uptick in calls when I post new product on YouTube, such as the 3070? I do it. I'm sure. Like when you've done the videos of the big wedges for Chris and stuff, I'd imagine he's seen a huge increase in the amount of people asking about them there.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy. The I guess the response or the reach, like, you always hear that saying, like, you never know who's watching, and it's amazing. It's pretty crazy.
No, 100%. Yeah, we and like the thing with it is, and lots of people know what's available. They don't really know what's there, right? They don't know what what tools and equipment they have, and unless it's for somebody throwing it out there and showing it to them, anyways. So.
But now I think it's becoming more and more commonplace to, whatever the subject is, somebody will say, "Oh, just YouTube that." Just YouTube it. So that's the big advantage, is that, you want to know how to, change the faucet on your kitchen sink. Oh, YouTube it. You want to know how to mix a good, pink squirrel. YouTube it. You want to, like, everything is like, YouTube has become like commonplace among a lot of people.
Oh, and you're absolutely right. Like, I had my last house. I learned how to do most of the renovations on it through YouTube. Like I learned how to mud drywall and tape drywall and like do all sorts of different stuff through YouTube. That was my source for it, because like most people are visual learners and visual people, right? So they're able to pick up on that quickly to be able to do that. So
that's the big advantage now, is that somebody, you know, hey, there it is.
Hey, everyone.
On. You should have seen what we were spewing out about you, Cam.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I bet. I can only imagine.
We were trying to click people's questions in here, and we didn't have the clue what was going on.
I did get that.
Me and were like two lemmings running around in a damn circle without you.
Oh, I put it on my phone just so I could reply, and I'm like, oh, here's Dan. Can you click on the questions to get them showing up? Because I can't. No, I can't.
I didn't know what we were going to do. I was like almost in a slight panic attack here.
Well, what we really should do is just restart it from the top again. I'm Andrew from Easton Made.
I'm Skidder Kev.
And I don't even know where I'm at. So I guess I'm right here. Oh, right there.
You've got a nice looking shirt. I love the color, Dan. I'm telling you.
Well, that is
man, you look nice tonight.
It's the Wisconsin state color for deer hunting. Blaze orange, safety orange, you know.
The state color. That's like Easton Made during hunting season. It's like shut down.
It is. I just got a text from Justin Vance. He's my right hand man at the shop there. He says you don't own a helicopter yet.
Outside with Shibe coming through with a super chat there.
There's actually two here. We're almost there. A little bit more will almost have me covered there, Schweib. Thank you. Cheers. So yeah, I had to go warm up the helicopter. I guess we never did. We're going to answer that question whether you own a helicopter, Andrew? Or...
Yeah, we got that all covered.
Oh, you got that covered.
We're 6 steps ahead of you, Ken. Where you been?
We're way past that.
You're past the helicopter question. Of course I own 2.
And
like,
the
why would I
weird
not own a helicopter? Does everyone not own a helicopter?
I own a helicopter. It's got 4 little props on it. Fits in the palm of my hand.
Oh. I got a helicopter joke, but it's inappropriate.
Maybe after. So, can't forget about the podcast.
Yes.
You guys haven't heard or you showed up later. Dan and Joe formed the Woodhounds podcast. They do a every Wednesday new episode on there. You're in around 30 to 40 minutes, I'm guessing they are.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things. It depends on the topic. Sometimes we can get into, we can start going off on tangents about all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's just, like I said, just depends on what we're talking about. But every Wednesday, Joe from Ohio Woodburner, him and I, we had this crazy idea for a podcast around firewood. And we'll see what happens.
If you guys haven't checked it out, you have to do it. Like if you even remotely enjoyed us rambling back and forth and bickering at one another, that takes a kick. The podcast is awesome, guys. You're really kicking ass with it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is 100% on that. I couldn't, when I heard you guys were doing it, I couldn't wait to get those episodes. And it sucked because I only got 1 episode and it's not like I could go back for more. It was the first one.
Yeah, well.
I'm like, I got to wait a week for another one.
Yes.
I've been so busy. I remember Joe posted there about a month ago or whatever it was. And I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to follow up with it. And then we go, I got to see what Dan's doing at Back 40 here. So.
Absolutely.
Back 40 videos, and I come across the podcast. It's awesome, man. Like, you guys it's just amazing. You guys are kicking ass. I couldn't be any more enthusiastic or ecstatic about it. It's great. I literally listen to it all day.
and like I said, it's been fun. We've got some plans on things coming forward, and we just want to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And the topics are endless. Like anything would relate it. Firewood to the woods. It's
Everything.
endless.
Oh,
Yeah.
and like you said, you can go into so much further depth and context with it than what you would normally do on a YouTube video. It would be,
Yep.
Yeah.
like, I am absolutely and totally. I think it's awesome that you guys are doing it. Like, it's a credit to our industry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Corwin Gray Systems.
Hey,
Cheers. Thank you for the power bill fund. That's great.
holy mollies,
Wowzers.
Jonathan
Nelson, case of beer to keep you warm next time the power goes out.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, Jonathan. Thank you. Wow, that's great. Thank you. So,
Yeah, that's American dollars, Kev. That might be like 4 cases of beer.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you're right. Or I could save that and I could go down US dollars and buy that 18 pack for $15 in the gas station.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Or I can buy Canadian beer in the duty free dirt cheap too.
The
That's
duty
how-
free.
Have you ever taken on the Sam Adams pumpkin beer when you're down at Paul Bunyan?
Pumpkin beer. I'll
It's
pass on the pumpkin beer.
spice beer. It sounds completely and totally disgusting. And like the odd time I'll take on the odd beer just to remind myself I'm still human and that I've had the Sam Adams pumpkin spice beer and down in Ohio is the only spot I've been able to get, and it's awesome. It's really good. It tastes like that beer after you've eaten all the pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving.
Huh. I'll have to try that. I
Exactly
have tried.
what it tastes like. I don't know how you better explain it. They've done such a good job on it.
Like I've tried one pumpkin beer. I bought one when I was at the liquor store, and I'm like, I'll try it. And I know I'm gonna get hounded on this as alcohol abuse, but I'm like, I couldn't force it down my gullet. I had to dump it down the drain. It was so bad.
Oh, I've had some bad ones. I'll tell you, my brother-in-law
I'm like,
here.
I'm drinking it. I'm like gagging.
He thinks it's funny for Thanksgiving because like we're always the Paul Bunyan's for Thanksgiving, so he thinks it's funny. He'll go to the liquor store and like buy like 2 or 3 like gross pumpkin beers. And no, that's not the same stuff.
And he'll be like, it's really good. You got to try it.
Yeah,
this is the best stuff.
Oh yeah, and he would like he just has no taste buds. That's his problem.
And then you're like,
Yeah,
this is how you drink it.
yeah. So videos by all. How many listeners for the podcast each week do you get?
I am trying to. I could go over to can I go over to the dashboard? I don't even know. I know we just crossed like 3,000 total downloads so far.
That's pretty
Really?
good.
Yeah, so it varies, I mean, obviously that first like the Wednesday and Thursday are the highest downloads, and then it kind of drops down, and then it goes back up for the next Wednesday. So, but the challenge is like reaching the podcast audience that isn't on YouTube. Like that's our next challenge is like, how do we reach the listeners? Like, because somebody's like, say, searching through podcasts and they see the Woodhounds, they're like, what the hell is this? So that's the challenge now is like, how do we expand our reach beyond like the YouTube audience? But it's just like anything. It's just like starting a YouTube channel. You just have to grow and you have to stay consistent, and eventually, hopefully, everything grows.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be the trick to it, Dan. Like it's like I when I started doing YouTube, when I started kind of onto this journey, I hooked up with a guy named Chris and Kevin LeClaire, and Chris is the Wood Beardsman. If nobody's checked out the Wood Beardsman before on YouTube, he's got a massive channel. He's 1.3 million subscribers, a big channel. And then his brother Kevin is on there with him too. And Kevin has a channel called Modern Self-Reliance. So about 3 years ago, like I just sheer curiosity, how in the hell do you do it? Like how do you do that? Like how do you get a following, a channel, a group of people that size? And he says all you got to do is kick the horse. You have to every single day get up and kick the horse. You have to make it go. And like Chris Carlson's great. Chris, and then what year? Chris Carlson's great at it. Every single day he kicks the horse. He gives it another shove and another boot. And like you guys are the same. Like you're consistently making content. He said that's the name of the game.
Yep.
Is to do it that way. Like these guys have been tremendously successful at this, and they're very conscious of making interesting content, and just I think the theatrics of it is more what they focus on. That being said, it's real stuff, but they make it entertaining.
Yep. And you have to, when you're starting out, you have to find what works for you. Like if you can do one video a week, do that. If you can do one a month, start with that.
Yep.
But don't get into the pitfall of comparing what you want to do to others, because it's always a challenge. It's like you have to find what works for you and then go with that.
I don't think you'd win out any other way. I think you got to do you, and do it consistently, and that's it. Like, and then it's fun. It's funny if you look back on it. Myself, I don't know about you guys. I used to watch Stacey David all the time on trucks.
Yeah.
And then Stacey David had the tightest pair of blue jeans you ever seen. But to watch Stacey David talk about a carburetor, describe a carburetor to you, you were goddamn excited about buying that carburetor, seeing that carburetor.
It's funny. I just saw a video of him yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't know how it came up, and I'm like, holy shit, I know that guy. I remember him.
Well, it's funny because like that's successful content. Like he could talk to you about that carburetor, and you would just be so excited about it. Just oh my god, look at that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny you brought him up. I remember watching, I think it was every Sunday he was on it was trucks, wasn't it? Didn't he do trucks?
Trucks. Yeah. I always remember he did an old C10, about a 67 or 68 C10 that was orange, because I like orange, but
Dan does too. So we got Chris. Says Chris in the Woodyard needs to be your spokesperson for the Firewood Frenzy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I think Chris is planning on doing like an open house at his yard to show off some of the equipment he has, the different pieces of Easton-made equipment that he has in the yard there. When they're doing the show in Oshkosh that same weekend, if anybody's interested in going, I think Chris is planning on doing something along those lines. So.
And then if he was smart, he'd have a whole bunch of wood split and be like, all right, everyone, let's have a stacking contest. Stack this wood up. Who can stack this wood the quickest?
A winner for the neatest, the quickest.
That's right. Who can make the best looking stack of firewood?
The straightest, the tightest. So Jonathan, I know that Chris seems to not have luck with the Galtech valves. Is this something new, or just takes time to get the detent adjusted on new splitters?
No idea.
I'm going to leave that one alone out of respect.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he did a video about those valves, and he was switching back to the Prince valves, I think. So, yeah. No clue.
No, I'm
Yeah,
going to leave that one alone. There was a little bit of sourness on my end of that, and I respect Chris, so I'm going to leave that one where it is. So I won't comment on that deal.
Yeah, fair enough. They did have a helicopter at the Paul Bunyan show. Oh, you know what? That is right. They had a helicopter there with the for cutting hydro lines.
Oh, really?
Oh.
So they like trimming the lines. It has like the big saw blades with a motor on them. I remember seeing that in a video. I wish I saw that. That sucks. I missed that.
I would really like to see that happen. I've seen it on like videos and stuff.
Yeah,
I would think you would have to have an awful set of cojones to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Like, what if you get a gust of wind and you're in the power lines? Like, you're literally feet from them. How do you just? Oh, I'm going to drop this blade in here.
Yeah. Well, the other thing people were saying was too getting it snagged in a tree, and it's got a quick release. It releases, and they got to send a climber up to get it out.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
It becomes a big job because they're doing areas that aren't easy accessible, right?
See,
or you send a climber up, but the helicopter still obviously has to be attached to it.
It would have to come back, and they would have to rehook up. Well, the climber's there, right? They would abandon it there till they could get the climber to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's how they would do it. But yeah, you get, like getting your saw pinched. I guess it happens the same there. I don't think very often, but it does happen.
I run the 500i. I never get my saw pinched. I don't run a Husky.
Go away. Just let her drop.
Is that because it doesn't start?
2 pulls, 3 pulls max.
3 pulls.
What he really needs is a 395, eh?
Oh,
yeah. There's 395 will get you going.
Yeah, if I want to carry a cement block around all day with me, Jesus.
I'd love to have one of those 500 eyes. I think that's an awesome saw. I wish I had one.
Oh yeah, yeah. My buddy's got one. It's a nice saw.
Have you run it?
No, I haven't. Have you run one?
I haven't had the chance yet. My buddy's pretty particular with this saw, so it's like no one's like, don't touch it.
Yep. Yeah.
But no, I'd like to run one for sure. I'd like to run one of those new 592s, I think they are. That'd be a nice saw.
Well, yeah, a good old Husky. You just take the raker down in the Husky and let her eat, eh?
Oh yeah, love it.
You just send her, bud.
Rip it right out of your hands.
I've got a buddy of mine. Have you ever watched the? Have you ever watched the hydraulic wood splitter versus mall video I did? It was a couple of years ago. It was Carp's a big boy. Like Carp's.
Oh yeah.
Carp's my size, and he's got to go. Like I'm 6'3", and like Carp's got to be 6'3", 280 pounds. Big boy. Like, monster man. But what Carp does, he gets like the 395, and then like most people do like one stroke on the rakers on the new chain. Carp will do like 3 or 4. That's wild. It takes almost 3 men to hold on to it.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd hold on to that. Wow. We got Dan needs a new 592 XP.
Oh, I don't know about that. Like I said, gotta carry around a big cement block.
But they're good on fuel. Billy Bob said he had a stacking party today. Sent invitations and bought 5 cases of beer. I won't run out of beer for a while because no one showed up.
I'm drunk now. That's funny.
Here you go, Andrew. James is going to bring his 500i when he comes to pick up his 37D.
Oh,
perfect.
Yeah, that'll be good testing that out.
We better see that on your channel.
Oh, we will. If I get my hands on a 500i, I'll tell you, I'm gonna be running my 562.
There's one more up here. Here it is. This is for you, Billy Bob. Blue Moon makes the best pumpkin ale.
I learned something the other day about Blue Moon.
Uh-oh.
In the United States, everywhere else in the world, it's Blue Moon. That's what it is. It's a Belgian white ale. I really like this stuff. I drink lots and lots and lots of it. It's fantastic beer. In Canada, they introduced it in Canada about 2, maybe 3 years ago, but it's called Belgian Moon. It's not Blue Moon, it's Belgian Moon. Because blue is trademarked in Canada for beer. They can't call it blue.
I didn't know that was trademarked.
That's what. If you go into a bar or whatever, it's Belgian Moon here. And I always wondered that. I was like, fuck that, it's the same beer. Like why would they call it something different? But blue is trademarked in Canada.
Yeah, I did not realize that blue was trademarked in Canada. I'm guessing just in beer.
That's one for Chris Wolf too, because every time I go somewhere, he wants to buy me a Labatt's Blue, and I really don't like Labatt's Blue very much. Also.
When we got married, we had an open bar, and the end of the night, all they had left was Labatt's Blue. That was it. It was like a 12-pack of Labatt's Blue, and I'm like, I guess I'll have it since there's nothing else. But that was it. Everything else, the Canadian, the Coors, everything was gone.
Fuck, it's terrible.
Labatt's Blue.
Beer. Oh my god, it takes an iron gut to drink that shit.
No, I don't know. I'd rather drink blue than 50, but that's just.
Well, you're right. You're right. Have you ever had the Wildcat before? You ever take on a Wildcat?
I haven't tried a Wildcat yet.
You haven't lived till you had one of them.
Pilsner. I had a Pilsner when I was out in Saskatchewan, and I wasn't a fan of Pilsner either, but not my cup of tea. Buick guy, what's it take to get a couple of Easton made hats? They're not available on the website.
We don't have a store up yet. Normally, if you buy a splitter, there should be a couple of hats dropped off to you. That being said, I know sometimes we've dropped splitters off and guys haven't got hats, but normally there should be a case of hats and Drew's cut truck or on the splitters. It depends on who's delivering them, but hopefully in the near future we can get a swag store set up where people can buy shirts and hats and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good, handy idea. You hear a lot of guys asking about that. Or
the problem is the supply is so low because when everybody has their Easton made splitter, they're throwing their hats on the ground and running and having to get a new one. You're like, what the hell is going on here? So you got to go through how many hats with every splitter.
Oh,
that's
Dan.
the problem. You got to send out 6 hats with every splitter because every time you're running it, you're throwing a hat on the ground. Oh my!
we're just gonna have to set a case of hats with them from now on.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's 12 hats. That should last you a week. Oh. We are having a good time tonight.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
that
for sure.
was pretty good. I like that one.
Yeah. Shy, Andrew, need to get up there and hang out for a few beers. He'll bring the 500i.
Yeah.
There's lots of cold beers in the fridge here. So I'd even get you some Miller Lights if you wanted to come up.
Oh.
Yeah. Because where is he? He's in PA, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the East Central PA, I think.
Yeah, he's in PA. I really don't think geographically only very far from us. I think 5-6 hours.
I don't think so.
Like I can be in Erie, PA in like 3 hours. If crossing the border's good. Like if the traffic's good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Fuck, it's been long. I guess it's been 2 years since I've been down there. What's south of Bampton, New York? I'm about 3.5 hours of Bampton. I'm not far to Pennsylvania. I'd be about 3.5, 4 hours to be right into Pennsylvania. I'd be Maryland 6.
Yeah, he says 4.5 hours.
What's he waiting on?
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
You could be here by morning.
He keeps talking about some school or something that he's doing for 6 weeks.
He's tied up right now with some training and some schooling, but
he'll be here just in time for black fly season. I don't know if Don's ever seen a black fly or not, but I'll tell you, there's a black fly here.
Oh,
and if there's a black fly there's one going up your nose and in your mouth.
You'd be right here in black fly season about 5 weeks from now. I seen him. I seen 2 mosquitoes carry a Canada goose away one time.
True story.
What happened? I promise. Seen little eyes.
Yeah. Mosquitoes are thick up here. Well, what do you say, guys? 2.5 hours?
Yeah, I broke the seal, so I'm going to either have to go again or we got to end this.
Yeah, we'll take one last question here from Richard. What prompted you to design the Axis? Very intriguing setup.
Well, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, vertical splitter.
Yeah,
well, that was a quick answer.
There's a handful of people that are going to want that vertical splitter, and I'm not going to change their mind. I'm not going to change their decision, and that's the design they want, and they work well. They really do. But
yeah,
the guys at Power Split Timber Devil, they were kind of razzing me a wee bit there, and I said, you know what, that's about enough of that, and I'll stick something in your pipe and you can smoke it. So here comes an Axis. If you want the honest to God truth, that's exactly what it was. So
yeah. Well, that's what happens when you talk too much.
Yeah. I will say though, when I ran Joe's, having that waist, everything at the same height, moving things around, it's because when I used to always use my dad's, the big box store splitters that turn vertical, but you're always bending down to get the split, and that having it at that height, waist height, makes all the difference. It's game changer.
Honestly, they work awesome. Like they really, really, really work. Like they for if you're doing like some really nice firewood and stuff like that. The problem that I had with it, what was the exaggerations from the other brands was the 30-ton. Well, no, they're not 30-ton. They're not this productive. They are really, really, really good at what they do. Like if you're looking for like really finesse firewood that's like easy to use, like even comfortable to run, but like so here while we do this. That's more of the thing. Like they've taken off. The Axis is an incredible machine to run. If you're it's easy to run. It really is there. So
yep.
Well, there you have it, guys. Well, thanks everyone. This is this was an awesome turnout tonight. Thanks.
Not now. We're fucked. Just me now. Oh, no, they're back.
What is going on? What happened to your internet?
Happening with Andrew's bandwidth?
I think power splits on him now.
Louis, you son of a...
All right, guys. Thanks for everyone coming out. Appreciate you all. Remember, go check out Dan at Back 40's Firewood and his podcast that he hosts with Joe from Ohio Woodburner called The Woodhounds. It's an awesome podcast. Yeah. You'll really enjoy it. You find that on all your podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Yep. Apple.
And the website, which is
thewoodhounds.com.
There you go. You can find them all there and the podcast as well. So, Andrew, we got you.
I'm back.
That's good. All right, guys. Cheers. Thanks, everyone. It was awesome.
All right.
Awesome night.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.